So, so as y'all saw in the Christmas special, there was a little bit of a oopsie that happened, and the back got hit. So in this video, we're going to be fixing it to the best of our abilities. Have a new taillight for it, so this little bit of greatness here will be going away. But the first thing we need to do to get ready is I need to take out this interior so that we can get to the back side and just kind of beat this back out. So I'll set y'all up so you can watch me get the interior out. So we got the interior all taken out now as much as we need to. So now where you are, you can see the back of the tail light. So there's like 6 bolts around it and then a whole bunch of electrical connections. So next thing I'll be doing is taking all those out so we can actually slide the tail light out. So I'll let y'all see that now. The taillight is now out. I went through and I just took a razor blade and a little bit of a wire brush and just cleaned it up around here. So the goal now, if you can see in the camera, is this right here is where it's primarily pushed in. It is actually all the way over to here, pushed in some. I think the bumper hit here and then kind of went across and then really caught on the badge and pushed in. So we'll start here on the main part and just tap it out and then slowly check with the lens to see when we have it in the right place, and then we'll judge how much kind of Bondo and painting we need to do. We want to do as little as possible. We're going to start with leaving the badge on. Hopefully we won't have to take it off, but it's really not a big deal if we do. It's just double-sided taped on. I put it on there because I put my bicycle on the back sometimes, and one time I knocked it off with the tire of my bicycle, so it's been off before. So that's what we'll do. We'll set you up and you can watch us beat this out. Well, as you probably just saw in that time lapse, we did a lot of beating on the back of this. And we've got it about as close as we're going to get it. Sadly, we are going to have to do some Bondo and a little bit of paint on it. We weren't able to just get it. I mean, we're going to have to do some paint no matter what. I mean, we're down to the metal in a few places. So, we're going to go to about here to here, about that tall of Bondo there, and probably just a little bit right there where it's all chipped up. So as you can see, we'd already started putting tape. We want to make sure we don't get anything on the pinstriping. We want to save that. I'm just going to tell y'all now, the paint is not going to match. Like when it comes down to it, it's not going to match right. This is a hodgepodge of old paint that was poorly done many years ago. So I'm going to do my best, but it ain't going to be perfect. So next you'll see us kind of shave everything down in here so we can get down to something we can actually like spray some primer and then do the Bondo over that. Same as here. And then we'll get back to when we're actually applying some Bondo. Well, y'all, we did some sanding. So we sanded right around that little line I just drew, and now we'll put Bondo kind of out to that line and then do some more sanding and then blend in some paint. So we just sanded with a 400 grit sandpaper just on a foam block. So basically I would just sand and then I'd take this wet rag, wipe it across, then keep sanding some more. This sandpaper is actually just a wet dry, so you can just keep sanding while it's wet. And then the whole reason you wipe it is just it creates a lot of dust. I mean, you can see it all ground into this piece of sandpaper. But one thing we found, which I've always kind of thought it was the case, why this car is so faded, it's the clear coat that's faded on this car. And if you look kind of like right here in the center, it doesn't look half bad. It's because essentially we just polished it with 400 grit sandpaper. Now, don't y'all get any ideas. I'm not going through, I'm not polishing this car. There's way too many chips and dings and rust spots on this car that I would never go through and do it. But it's kind of neat to see. So now we'll get to Bondoing. So, sorry I didn't show y'all any of the sanding. I'm sure you're real sad you didn't get to see me sand, Bondo, sand, Bondo, sand, Bondo. But I put a couple layers of Bondo on, sanded it. I was mainly switching between 80 and 180 and 320 grit sandpaper. I've got it fairly smooth and molded out now. As you can see, I taped it off and I took the center panel off. I'm going to spray some filler primer on it now. Tape it off more, of course, but that'll kind of help me see the low spots better, and then I'll be able to just kind of sand the more finer spots with the primer. So, as you can see, I've got it all painted. Now, I know I forgot to film actually putting the paint on, but I got back from a trip and I just started working and I totally forgot to put up the camera. So, what I did was after I sanded it, you know, primed it, sanded it, primed it, sanded it, primed it, I just did a little prep salt and then a tack cloth over it. And then I took a duplicolor paint that really had about the amount of blue that I needed. And I held the can out probably about this far and I just fogged it. And then I took the same primer I used and just fogged it with it. That's how I got the look to match. You know, it's kind of uneven, lighter gray, because the blue I got, you can kind of see it over here. That's what it looked like. I mean, it was way darker. So I just fogged it while everything was still wet, kind of just together to get that look, because I didn't want it to look brand new. Nothing on this car looks brand new. It would have just been weird. So, I did mess up a little. I thought this was a piece of tape, and I didn't tape it up. So hopefully the taillight covers that. But now I will be going through and letting y'all see me put the taillight back in. And then I'll show y'all the car probably outside, and you can see how it looks. Well, everybody, it's done. Got the taillight back in, the centerpiece. Excuse the mess, but I got the interior all back together. And I have to say, I think it looks pretty darn good, especially for my first ever real body work attempt. Here's a bit of a see the taillight. And y'all saw the thing. I put some RTV behind the taillight just to make sure that it seals, because and I don't want it leaking. So that's gonna be it for this video. Don't worry, like I said earlier, I have the badge. The badge will go on eventually. I just want to on. That's gonna be it for this. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. I know it wasn't a very educational, it's just for me doing it. Something like this happens. I didn't do anything special. This is something any one of y'all could do. Honestly, with a car with nicer paint, it could potentially be easier to match. I mean, I had to match this. I mean, this is not a color, it's a patina. So, hopefully y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out the Instagram as well. So, thank y'all.